Hello everyone, Rurikhan here coming at you with another first impressions video, and today we're going to be taking a look at Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD for the Wii U. This title was sent to me by Nintendo Portugal so that I could give it a look and tell you guys my opinions on it. This particular first impressions is going to be made in post-commentary. Not because I would have problems doing live commentary, it's just because I wanted to show you guys different sections of the game, and there are big stretches of time in between them. So I opted to using this particular method of post-commentary because it would make things a little bit easier for me. And hopefully that allows me to show you guys a little bit more content. Now, there's not going to be any spoilers in here, so don't worry yourselves about that. I will be telling you guys the basic plot of the title, but there's no spoilers. I mean, it's stuff that's told to you right at the very start of the game. And most of the gameplay footage that you're going to be watching is from one of the first islands that you go to. It is not the first island. It's one of the first islands that you go to. You do a little bit of a dungeon and stuff like that. But let's get started. So one of the first things that you guys will notice in Wind Waker HD, as probably you guys have noticed in the original Wind Waker, which was released for the GameCube a while back, is its striking art style, which I believe was already impressive at the time, even though I never really got to play the original one because I didn't own a GameCube. But it does have a very different art style to it. I mean, it's just one of the first things that pops to mind. Now, this is going to be a specific art style that some people are going to enjoy, whereas other people might not appreciate as much. It's got a little bit of a cartoony look to it, but it's very stylized, and to be completely honest, I thought it was very, very appealing. That is my personal opinion. You guys know that I have no issues with cartoony looking graphics or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I usually tend to like those games. So the graphics I enjoyed quite a bit. I think that the art style in general, I mean, the game just feels almost like a painting in motion in a way. And in a unique way almost, because I haven't seen a whole lot of games that look like this. So that is how I feel about the graphics. The animations, on the other hand, are not as appealing to me personally. I can't really tell why, because, I mean, here's the thing. This is a very simplistic art style, and it comes, basically, you infer that it comes with a very simplistic set of animations. Now, I'm not saying that the animations are bad, it's just I expected more out of it, but then again, I guess the animations is one of the sections of the game that, in my opinion, shows a little bit of the game's age. Particularly the animations of when you jump to grab onto ropes and stuff like that. I feel that sometimes, I don't know, it just doesn't feel very smooth, that particular aspect of it. Apart from that, though, I mean, the game runs smoothly. There are, however, a couple of cutscenes that I've noticed where it suffers from a little bit of a frame drop to it. The game runs, I believe, maybe sometimes a little bit higher than 30. I don't think it's reaching 60. And sometimes when your hits connect, you will see a little bit in frame drops. You guys will see that as we play through the game here, or maybe that's just the choice that they kind of like stop a little bit every time that you hit something, but I'm not exactly sure what's up with that. But I think I'm nitpicking a little bit, so let's get onto some gameplay. So what is the gameplay all about in this particular title? Well, it is a Zelda title, so it plays essentially like a Zelda title. As a matter of fact, those of you who are familiar with Zelda titles will most likely recognize the gameplay style. It consists essentially of exploration, puzzle solving, and combat. And when I say exploration, I mean exploration. Like, this Zelda, probably more than other Zeldas due to the sailing mechanic, has got quite a bit of exploration on it. Now, the game, up until the points where I've played, because bear in mind, I do first impressions videos, I haven't had a chance to finish the game yet, but up until the point where I played, the game does a good job of telling you more or less where you have to go, whilst also giving you the freedom to do your own little bits of exploration, which is pretty cool. Exploration is not just about dungeon crawling. There's also a ton of exploration to do in towns, doing side quests, all that kinds of good stuff, which is something that I guess a lot of people are used to from Zelda games. There's also a lot of conversations that you will need to have with NPCs, and probably to a lot of people's disappointment, there is no voice acting. So there's a lot of text that you're going to be reading, and I guess that's just one of the things about Zelda. I mean, I seem to remember the Zelda that I played. I only played one Legend of Zelda game to date, which was Twilight Princess, it was kind of like the same thing. There was really no voice acting. There's a couple of noises the characters will make during conversations and stuff like that, but there's not really any voice acting in the game itself. So there's going to be a lot of text reading when you're going through conversations and going through the story. Speaking of the story, the backstory of this particular title is you're a young man from an island which dresses its young man when they come of age. They dress them like Link because Link is a hero and whatever. There's kind of like a little bit of a deeper background to that particular portion of the story. But essentially your motivation is your little sister gets kidnapped by this big bird, and as you try to save your kidnapped sister, you find out that there's a bigger plot than just a bird kidnapping your sister. There's a big bad villain behind all of that, and as you find this out, eventually you come across a boat, which is the boat that introduces you to the sailing mechanic. And that boat tells you, oh, you're going to have to do a lot of things, and you're going to have to go to different places in order to gather enough power to defeat this evil being that kidnapped your sister. And that's kind of like what sets you on your journey. You're on a journey to increase your powers and gather equipment and stuff like that so that you can go and save your sister from this evil character, which I'm not going to talk too much about. But yeah, that is essentially your objective. Now, in the island that we came to, I can't really remember the reason why we came here, but essentially the boat said, oh, you need to go to this island because they are having a problem there. And this is the island where they teach you how to use one of the tunes for the Wind Waker item. Now, the Wind Waker is essentially an item that currently at the place that I am in the game allows you to change the direction the wind is blowing. And why is this important? Because when you're on your little boat thing that allows you to travel between different islands and stuff like that, you are going to need wind on your sails in order to move the boat. Because if you don't have wind, essentially the boat doesn't move. So in this island, you learn how to use your little, what's it called again? The Wind Waker. The Wind Waker thingy, and they teach you how to manipulate the winds to whichever direction you want. Which I'm sure is also going to come in further use further down the line in certain puzzles and stuff like that, because a great big deal of Zelda games, for those of you that aren't aware of it, is puzzle solving. It is not that much about combat. I mean, sure, it strikes a balance. Let's just say there's about as much puzzle solving as there is combat, which I feel that sometimes people think that Zelda is more about combat, not as much about puzzle solving. It's about they strike a balance there, and I'm rambling a little bit here. But yeah, another thing is the controls. You can, every now and then you feel that the controls show their age a little bit in this title. At least I definitely felt it. But I mean, it's not like it's crippling you in any way, but you do feel that aging a little bit. But having said that, though, there are a couple of aspects that have been streamlined. I believe that, I mean, obviously we had a graphics overall, as you guys can see. I believe that the sailing mechanic was also simplified, but like I said, I never really played the original, so I cannot confirm that particular aspect of it. But it definitely retains that Zelda playstyle where as you acquire new items, you then have access to new areas. Like, for instance, one of the items that I acquired while I was on this island was the Wind Waker flute. Is it a flute? I think it's flute. Was the Wind Waker, because when I got there, the boat gave me the Wind Waker. And then I also acquired a grappling hook that they gave me, and that instantly unlocked a whole bunch of areas that I previously did not have access to. And essentially that is what you're going to be doing. I mean, you guys are watching some gameplay in the background to give you an idea of what it's like to explore dungeons, but don't expect the entire gameplay to be about dungeon crawling, because it is not really. There's a whole lot more that you can do. I mean, the whole sailing mechanic thing, when I got my grappling hook, they also gave me something that I can use on the ship that allows you to retrieve stuff from the bottom of the ocean. So I'm figuring, like, you're gonna have some treasure hunting stuff as well to do. There is Miiverse integration as well, like you can put messages in bottles and send them to other players throughout the Miiverse thing. Other players that play Wind Waker, I'm assuming. don't suppose you can like send messages to players that don't have Wind Waker, because that would be kind of weird. But yeah, definitely something that you can tell, I think, by looking at the gameplay, is that the title is incredibly polished. I haven't encountered any bugs or anything like that. There were, like I said, the game is challenging. There are two modes that you can play. You can play in normal or you can play in hero. I didn't go in hero mode because the description said if you go in hero mode, the game doesn't give you any hearts. And I was like, well, that sounds a bit harsh. You'd be dying a whole lot then. And speaking of death, how does the death mechanic kind of work out? Well, usually you're going to die in dungeons and stuff like that. At least that's what I'm assuming. And the way it worked was as you go through a dungeon, you will usually be able to unlock certain checkpoints within that dungeon that give you access to shortcuts. Like, say, for instance, there's a broken ladder and you can't reach that ladder, but as you progress through a dungeon, eventually you will be able to push a box down to the place where that ladder was, and then you can climb onto the box, and from the box climb onto the ladder, and that basically persists through your death. So if you eventually die, you can then take that shortcut and resume your exploration of a dungeon. So there's that, as well as there are other shortcuts, like there's these vases that you can take that kind of teleport you around, at least in the dungeon that I did, which was the Dragon Roost dungeon. That definitely was there. There's also the possibility of killing yourself while you're solving puzzles. I definitely did that as well. I'm watching a bit of the video as I'm playing, and I just watched myself getting crushed by a boulder because I was an idiot. But yeah, I mean, in terms of gameplay, in terms of the combat, in case you guys are curious, I mean, you can hold up your shield to block, you can swing your sword, you can do leaping attacks. There's also a parry system, which consists of you counterattacking your enemies as soon as they're about to start an attack, like a little thing pops up. There's also a ton of collectibles that you're going to be able to collect as you progress through the game world. And one of the really cool things about the sailing mechanic, I've been talking a lot about the sailing mechanic, is that the world map is essentially uncharted. So you're charting the map as you're traveling through it. You're going to all these islands that are available in the game, and there's a lot of side islands that you're also able to go to. If you listen to everything that the NPCs are saying, you can use different items on fishes. No, it's not different items. You can use bait on fishes to get fishes to chart a specific island for you. There's a ton of stuff for you to do in this title, and I think that Zelda fans will definitely not be disappointed. And if you guys find the gameplay that you're watching in the background appealing, I think you guys will probably enjoy this title as well. There's definitely a lot of content here. I haven't played the game all the way. I've just done like the first island. I've already spent quite a couple of hours on it. And it's just a lot of fun. Also, another thing is the Wii U Gamepad. In this particular title, the Wii U Gamepad is used mostly for inventory management as well as displaying map in real time, so that you can just take a glance at the map at any point as you are playing through the game. You don't actually have to pause the game in order to like manage your inventory or do any of that stuff. You can just do it by swiping items and swiping them onto shortcuts, swiping them onto different packs that you have access to. It is actually a very streamlined process, and it is one of the better uses of the gamepad for games like this, for RPGs and stuff. I cannot tell you how cool it is to actually do inventory management from a second screen. Like, I know that a lot of times I myself am someone who used to think like this. Like, I would see the Wii U gamepad and I'm like, yeah, they could put like inventory management stuff like that on games, but is it really that big of a difference? It is actually something that is extremely convenient, and it does enhance the experience. Sure, is it a big deal? Not really, but it's a small enhancement to your experience that makes the whole thing feel that much more immersive. Not to mention, the map thing is really, really cool, because it's just like there's no map taking up screen real estate, which just gives them more space for that for the gorgeous visuals that this game provides. That is pretty much it for this video. As per usual, leave me your comments, feedback, all that kinds of good stuff in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.